Shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. All right, yeah, pretty much. I was looking through a few of these articles here, as we see these prophecies coming to pass, okay, and we see that these devils are taking that step, okay, making their move. And this morning there was a video that I saw dealing with a let's see if I can find it on here, but I know it was Australia, where they're pretty much openly declaring, all right, what the agenda is, all right, and what the plan is basically, okay, and now they're doing that because it's now the people are now in that state, and these elites running out of time are trying to normalize certain key terms, okay, and certain agendas. Okay, the new normal was really just a nice way of saying it, but now they're coming out and calling it as it is, the NWO. Okay, and so as we're seeing everything, the direction that the world is headed in, and all of that is really leading down one path. Okay, so now there's an article here. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to read the headline. Okay, and as always, I'll put the links to these articles in the description, and you can take a look at it yourself. Now it says, an EU army, the end of NATO, or an unrealistic solo venture with little chance of success. And when you hear that EU army, when I read it, when I heard it, I thought about the book of Revelation, the 17th chapter. All right, because now they're saying here that I might just read the first paragraph or so, which says, following the U.S.'s disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, there have been renewed calls for the creation of a European Union military force. But could such a collective defense project spell the end of NATO? All right, and when you read Revelation 17, it goes into ultimately the beast, all right, the horns turning upon the whore and shooting missiles upon her. Okay, so if they do end up having their own, and the horns represent the European Union, so if they do end up having their own EU military force, all right, that would just be another step towards that prophecy being fulfilled, because eventually something is going to happen that's going to have these nations with their own European Union military end up shooting missiles over here, because then they wouldn't really have such a strong ties or alliance to the US through NATO. Okay? Now obviously this is not going to happen overnight, because it tells you in the same chapter that it's because of the will of the Lord that they gave their power onto the beast. So they still need to remain as a power structure now in order to bring to pass the pre-destruction prophecy, which is the charagma. All right, because remember, that's going to be issued by the beast. So the beast needs to be a beast, not broken up just yet. Although there's divisions, but after that, when the destruction comes, you're going to see that breaking up and that division, because the next prophecy is going to require them to be broken up. It's going to require the EU at the end of the day to shoot missiles on America. Okay. Now, here, which is being talked about a lot this morning, a lot of different news sites are, making this headline known that Biden, well, you can read it, but Biden is basically getting ready to make these things, set in stone, all right, for these federal workers with no option to opt out. And we said this when they started, when he first came out and said you would have the option for testing. We said, look, it's only a matter of time before they take away that option. We always tell you these devils move through gradualism. So don't feel a type of way when the first thing they say is not the last thing they stick with. The first thing they say is simply the first thing they say of many. All right? because it's easier, and in their shoes it's more advisable to give people a false sense of choice. All right, make them think that they have an option, and then gradually act as though because of non-compliance you're now forced to bring this new option into place. All right, because if you just straight up bring this new option into place, it's like, oh, you didn't even give us a chance. But when you say, oh, I'll give you the option to do this, but then you're still not doing what you got to do, now I have no option but to make it this way now because people are dying, blase, blase, blah. Gradualism. All right, you don't start with the end goal. You start with a position that'll lead you to the end goal, and then you progressively make your way there. But slow enough to where they don't pick up on it, but fast enough so where you still meet your deadline. Anyway, they're saying here that he signed an executive order, that's gonna require these federal workers and contractors, to have the Vanessa, but also he's gonna be given a speech, I believe, later today. It says here, laying out a six-pronged strategy. Isn't that interesting? You've seen the number six, and you wonder why the scriptures say it is a number of a man. Okay, because it's like 6 feet apart. 6 months in between. Boosters. Everything is just throwing that six out there. Okay, so these devils know exactly what they're doing. All right, now, as we've been telling you, these things are going to happen according to the scriptures. You're seeing that all these articles that keep coming out are just more and more bad news. Well, to people that are without the know, that are not in the know, it's more and more bad news that gets worse every day. It's every day you wake up, every couple of hours in the day, there's something more that you're hearing. If it's not from America or the UK or Italy or France or anywhere, you're hearing news, and it's all like the Lord prophesied, the beginning of sorrows. But this is all orchestrated, as we keep trying to tell people. And now they're using terms that we were labeled, theorists, the seed theorists, for using, but now they're coming out and saying it. And yet you still have people that are still done. They're still blinded. And it has to be a spiritual thing, because how can you still remain asleep while all these things are happening? When everything we told you would happen is happening. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1. It says, keep not thou silence, O Lord, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Okay, now let's look up this word tumult. It says, Hama. All right, and it says here, to growl, to roar, to be boisterous, to be in a stir, to murmur, to cry aloud, to disquiet, to make noise, to rage. And there's a scripture that says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Because they think that their collaboration with each other is actually going to help them accomplish their goal. But they don't understand that the thought the very thought that's in their mind to want a goal like this is only there to fulfill prophecy. All right. Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And who are the Lord's people? The children of Israel. All right. Which are us today. Predominantly, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And now they're saying it more and more blatantly. It seems everything that comes out, the targets are, they say blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They are taking crafty counsel against us. It says, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Why are we called hidden ones is because people know blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, but they don't know that a lot of people don't really know that these are the people of the Bible, that these are the children of Israel. All right. So our nationality is hidden, though we are the true people of the book. Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. All right. So what are some examples of cutting them off from being a nation? Well, first off, tell them they're black. All right. Push black culture. Push rap, push gangster music. Push all these things that will destroy them and keep them separated from their heritage. Right? Ridicule and label any prophets or any men trying to teach them the truth as extremists and black supremacists, and try to make these people stay away from that book. All right, and ultimately to destroy those of us that know we're Israelites. Okay, it says that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. But the thing is, the name they call themselves Israelis, but what they mean by that is really that the presence of the true Israelites may be no more in remembrance. Okay, that it becomes a thing of old, it becomes archaic to the point where when you hear of the children of Israel, you just think of the Bible. But in terms of practically and realistically, as in them being here today, that's far fetched. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. And then it goes on and lists these nations that are in this confederacy. And it starts with what? The tabernacles of Edom. Because right now they're the ones ruling this world. Okay, and a part of their rule is to bring down and come down with great wrath. They are that dragon. All right, and that's why now what they're doing is they're starting to implement these measures that they have prescribed. All right, this is Isaiah 10:1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and a lot of these decrees are unrighteous. All right, a lot of these mandates are unrighteous, especially the ones that are to come. Ultimately, leading up to telling people to take that charagma. It says, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. So these executive orders, these mandates, they have prescribed these things. They have planned these things out. And they're just giving the go ahead, telling them, look, bring this to come to pass. But of course, put it like this. When you had Jacob and Esau, it was already decided from the beginning that Jacob was going to get the blessing. However, the way the Lord had it come to pass was it manifested in the form of, Jacob having to supplant Esau and go through all of that and put the goat hair on his body and deceive Isaac. That's how the Lord made it manifest. But their plan from the jump was that Jacob was going to get it. So in this sense, the plan from the jump was to take this control, to set up these mandates, to bring the charagma. But how it manifests, how they get to that end goal, is what we're seeing now with the whole pandemic and shutting things down, locking things down, and all these different things. Okay? Because sometimes the way they get there can make it seem one way, but when you actually look at the full picture, it's really another way. Verse 2, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people. And that's exactly what they want to do. As they're saying, I believe it's in Australia, they're saying they want to lock out the unfinessed. It says that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. Verse 3, and what will ye do in the day of visitation and in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help? And where will you leave your glory? Because you can be in control of these mandates, you can be in control of these policies, but when things start getting out of hand, all right, and the true darkness comes out, the terrors and the plagues that the Lord is going to send upon this place pursuant to 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, then what? Where are you going to go then? You're not going to be in control of that. What are you going to do then? All right? Because these devils, man, what the world is about to get ready to see is why they're called the devil, why they're called Satan. Because they're going to show their true colors, man. They are called the son of perdition for a reason. Psalms 10:2, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor, and we are the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined, and that's what's going to happen. All right? They're going to fall into their own trap. Their plans are not gonna they're not gonna be fulfilled. They're gonna get very close, and that's why it's gonna hurt even more, because right when you're about to complete, and dig into your new world order, boom, it's all gonna collapse. Verse 3, for the wicked boasteth in his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. Yeah, you know who's in his thoughts? Satan. But they don't realize that Satan works for the Most High anyway. All right, these devils are being deceived. That's why it tells you in the book of Job that the deceived and the deceiver are his. The deceiver is Satan, and the deceived are these devils. But it's all the will of the Lord anyway. And you're going to understand why he's called the Most High, and why even the angels tremble in his presence. You're going to understand that. Verse 5, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above, thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. And that's that pride. Okay, that's that pride that they have. They think, like it says, they sit in the seat of God, saying that they are God. So they don't regard the Most High. But they will very soon. See, when the shackles get slapped onto those wrists and those ankles, and you see how fast. That's why the Lord said he beheld Satan falling as lightning. When you see how fast these devils fall, they're gonna realize real soon how stupid they were. That the pride of their hearts, meaning the pride of their minds, have truly deceived them. All right. Verse 6, he has said in his heart, meaning in his mind, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. They don't think they're ever going to go down. Pursuant to Psalms 49 and 11, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. All right. And their dwelling places onto, pretty much onto eternity, roughly paraphrasing. But you've been deceived. Verse 7, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. So if you know this about the devil, why would you listen to what he has to say, number one? And number two, why would you tell others to listen to what he has to say? If his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud, that means that if he's telling you something, he's deceiving you. And under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He's deceiving you because he has a mischievous plan that he wants to fulfill on your ass. And yet you have people that decide, you know what? We're still going to listen to him anyway. We're going to disobey the Lord, and we're going to listen to him. Whether he gave us, treats, or we're just ignorant of the fact, we're going to do it. And you know what's going to happen to you? The Most High is going to destroy you. All right? The Lord is going to put you to death. That's what's going to happen to you. And it's going to be in a very painful, agonizing way where you learn your lesson. But even after that, it's still not enough. All right. But we're gonna keep our eyes out to see what this guy says in his in his speech that he's supposed to give, and see where we're going from here. All right. These dates are coming up, and so we're gonna watch and see how the Lord sets it up, how things go these coming months. All right, into the year 2022. So with that, I hope you were edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Ruach Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.